Greetings folks, welcome to All Moto. I'm Guy Allen. Donington in Melbourne has a new auction coming up with a whole range of bikes, vintage, veteran, modern classics, everything from Bimota through to old single cylinder Triumphs. Mark Higgins and I have done a little preview. Join us for a bit of a walk around.
So,
Righto, something a bit different.
well, yes, a Bimota. What is a Bimota?
Okay, so Bimota, Italian firm, a few famous names behind it. But essentially what Bimota started out as is building one-off chassis and bodywork for proprietary engines. So over the years they've had Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha,
Right.
and Ducati.
Right.
And now, most recently, they've been bought by Kawasaki.
That's interesting.
Yes. So Kawasaki buying a boutique maker rather. They've traditionally been hugely expensive.
Right.
Like this would have been the equivalent of 40 to 50, if you put it in modern terms, probably closer to 50.
Okay.
Now, of course, second hand, they're not worth a huge amount of money.
No, right.
This one's estimated at 12 to 14.
Right.
That's probably a little light on, but anyway, I'm not going to hit telephone numbers.
No,
that's
okay.
for sure.
And what's the model?
Okay, so it's called a YB11.
Right.
Okay, so it's got a Yamaha Thunder Race engine. Now, I'm a bit of a fan of those engines. I've owned a couple of Yamahas with them.
Right.
It's the last of the 5-valve inline fours, 1 litre fours.
Okay.
So they made about 145 horsepower, thereabouts. Absolutely dead reliable engine, like bulletproof.
Yep.
Valve service intervals are every 42,000.
Right.
So they're almost, they're not maintenance free, but they get close.
They're close.
Yeah, massive beam frame on it. Huge forks for the period, 51, 52 millimetre forks, which were just unheard of at that stage. So premium suspension, premium brakes, premium chassis. So you have this tiny, this is the size of a 600 in the mid-90s.
Right.
This tiny little 1 litre bike that was light, had all the good gear on it.
Yep.
A real sports bike.
Yes.
So there you go, something a bit different.
And it looks gorgeous. It absolutely looks gorgeous, like you'd expect something out of Italy. The styling of it is sensational, isn't it?
Bless.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so something else to talk about.
Yes.
We're in the early 70s now.
Okay.
An American called Craig Vetter has been hired by BSA to style a motorcycle for them. BSA's concern was that its 3-cylinder bike, the Rocket 3,
Right.
was seen as a bit dowdy.
Right.
Okay, so they wanted to liven up the styling. Craig Vetter, American designer, he was famous for his fairings, he did a range of luggage, all sorts of interesting things,
Right.
and quite a few prototypes for people. BSA hired him to do this, so it had the slant forward 750 bushrod motor,
Right.
which is actually quite a good motor. I've got a T160 with that motor in it,
Okay.
and it's surprisingly good, about
Right.
mid-60s
Yep.
horsepower.
Yep.
But wild styling, very organic, completely different. 3 pipes stacked on one side of the bike. It is so 70s.
Yeah, right.
It screams 70s at you. Now, weirdly, BSA was on the way out when, by the time they got this up as a production-ready model,
Yeah.
so it became the Triumph Hurricane, otherwise known as the X75.
Right.
And they didn't sell a whole lot of them. The production numbers were relatively modest, but they've been quite a valuable bike ever since then.
Right.
Maybe not the most practical thing, but that's not the point.
No.
It's a 70s show bike. That's effectively what it's
Yeah.
got. And 70s are cool. My other one that I wanted to talk about,
Yes.
okay, MV Agusta F4000. Now I'm biased here, I own one. I don't own this model, however. Right? And this is called the Aggo. Right?
Yeah.
So this is a hotted up 1000, it's about 160 something horsepower. Back when they sold them new, this is 2005, they were 50 something thousand dollars.
Silver with the red.
It's got that traditional red and silver race colours, it's got the number 1 on the side. Of course, Agostini, Giacomo Agostini was a huge success for them, won a number of championships for them.
Yeah.
MV built 300 of these things.
Right.
This one's coming on the market. It's not estimated at below new price.
Right.
Now, I'm inclined to think this is one of those bikes that it hasn't quite hit its straps yet as a collectible, but it will.
Yes.
And I think there are much worse things to be buying at the moment. Something like this, getting a little bit ahead of the market.
Yep.
God, a beautiful thing to look at too.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I can remember seeing it for the first time at Phillip Island at the MotoGP when they launched it.
Yes.
And the then chairman of Qantas, James Strong, went and did some laps, and he was a very accomplished rider and did some laps in it. And it was, you couldn't wipe the smile off his face, but to everyone that saw it, me included, you couldn't wipe the smile off my face either. And I thought to myself, even if you're not a motorcycle enthusiast, you just look at it and it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, this, from my point of view, it is Tamburini, it was a designer.
Yep.
Tamburini was famous for the Ducati 916
Yes.
and the F4, and I think they're his peak work. And I'm fortunate to have both of them in my shed. And Bimota, funnily enough, has a Tamburini connection as well.
Ah, okay.
So, but yeah, absolutely iconic. And the F4, I think, was his next best thing after the 916.
Yeah. So Massimo Tamburini is like, to the motorcycle world, Ian Callum to the car world.
Very much so. Ian Callum, of course, famous for Jaguar and so many
And Aston
beautiful
Martins
ones.
and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So what's the estimate?
Well, they're saying 32 to 42. And I wouldn't be scared at the upper end of that range. I really wouldn't be. The auction starts September 9. You can find out more at doningtonauctions.com.au.